La cucaracha, la cucaracha. La 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 la. Happy Cinco de Mayo.
I love it. Cinco de Mayo on the Scorpio full moon lunar eclipse, and look at us go. We've had a
I
good
know.
day, though.
How do you like my hat?
I love it. I love it.
I think it would work better if I were riding on a horse. I can't sit in a chair with it. Unless maybe if I put it on the other way.
I can't see
How did
riding
they
a horse.
wear these things?
I
Yeah,
don't
it's so
know.
heavy.
Is
We
it?
used to
It
wear
looks
it.
like,
We used to celebrate it when I was a teacher. And
no.
I don't know why. Isn't it got something to do with the French and what they did in Mexico?
You know
And
what?
that
I
wasn't
don't.
very nice. Hello,
You know.
everybody.
Hi, Gina M. Hi, Penny. How's everybody tonight? That is
Hi.
Diana Bowles, and she is oil painter, aka oil painter, I should say. Also, oil painter. And her and I do this probably now twice a month where we get together and we talk about the astrology because we've had so much going on. And we call it the unfolding because we're still in it. We're going to be in it for a while. But today we were waiting on this day. This was a very important day to get through. What do you think?
Oh, I think this was a very special day. It
Mm-hmm.
was a much heavier energy as far as the eclipse go. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Um Especially compared to the solar eclipse that we had at the end of April because that was quick. But today's
Yeah,
eclipse started at 11, 30, 34, 38, something like that.
34, I
And
think.
then it was at its peak at 127, so that was like two
Mm-hmm.
hours. And then it took another 2 hours to get out of the eclipse itself. So it was a long lasting full moon eclipse.
In Scorpio,
And
Lord. And we did have Earth activity with a earthquake in Japan and a
and a
volcano, I think.
volcano
Yeah. And
in
that happened
Colombia.
that happened right about the time it was getting ready to go. And that's
Yes.
usually what does happen on Earth because, that energy's coming in and it's very
Yep.
intense. But
I was
we,
aware of the earthquake, but it didn't hit me the same because I was moving dirt, wheelbarrows and shovels full.
hi, Kayla. Kayla's here.
Hey, Akila.
I know well, that was a good thing to do though during the eclipse was to stay busy. Doing something you love, preferably, and if you had to be at work, hi Jay,
Right.
and you don't like
And
your work.
so I'm interested with our audience if anybody had some sort of a plan for how to direct themselves through this eclipse, even if they were at work. Did they have some sort of a ritual that they tried to squeak in somewhere, or were they able to make a plan for the whole time? Because I, being retired, was able to do that. And for me, what I found amazing is I don't pay attention to time very often.
Mm-mm.
And I didn't pay attention to time today. But I have a pretty good sense of time because of my years of training as a teacher. I know how long it takes to go 2 minutes, So
A minute more.
today I had set a goal that I would walk the dogs 2 miles or more, which I did. It was almost 3, and get them back to the house, get them fed, and get outside by the time that 11:20:38 came,
Mm-hmm.
and get started moving the dirt so I could finish up the project of getting this big pile of dirt into the raised beds that I had built last year. Not by myself. I did have my brothers and my cousin Ron come to do this, build for me. And then and it was, I came inside and it was done. And it was on time. It was just as if I had been watching the clock or set a timer. And then my next move was to get outside and start planting seeds while we were in the range of the peak time of the eclipse, which was 120 something or another. Well, I had cleaned my parrot's cage. I had eaten, gone back outside, cleaned my parrot's cage, and got out there like to the seeds at about 2:22, which was after, but I didn't have that many seeds to plant or to start because it's been a long, cold spring here in Michigan, and I just, it's so late already getting started to do that I was just going to start the flowers, the perennial or annuals, some annuals, mostly perennials, that I'm starting from seed to put in the ground, and they can go in anytime because they're going to be perennials. So I got that done, started that end of the project at 2:22, and when I came back in the house, it was 3:34 or something like that, which was the end of the eclipse. So my Earth Dragon kept me on schedule.
Yeah.
All on her own, and had me motivated enough to keep everything going. And that includes covering the beds until we get through the threat of frost time, and I can start putting some plants into the vegetable beds. So anybody else who had a plan or who had attempted to keep something on schedule?
I don't know. Let's ask. Hi, Jenny. If anyone had a nice day, it unfolded nice for you, or you had plans for today, let us know. I had a live earlier and everything flowed, pretty smoothly. All I do really is research when I'm not on live. so that was as normal, but I felt really good energy today. I want to say last day and a half as a buildup was coming, it kind of felt a little,
Yes, it did.
Felt a little tense, and a couple little things did occur, but that is, these things are gonna occur. There's something that's being eclipsed, being removed from our lives on one aspect or another, and this is something that Diana and I talk about a lot, and we're preparing everyone for that. This is the third Scorpio eclipse within the last 18 months. We've also had Taurus because they're opposite, South Node and North Node. And each time it comes in, it takes another layer out. I'm sorry, the last eclipse was Aries at 29 degrees. But the next one is Taurus in the fall.
Right. Both of them.
Yeah, both of them. I can't remember the dates, but that Taurus is what we're rebuilding, and we're that's our forward. What do we want? What do we want to create? Well, we everyone has plans and ideas and dreams and wishes, but we had to get rid of the stuff that we didn't want, that is just kind of hanging on us, and we know it's hanging there on some level. We might not all know all of it, but this is the beauty of Scorpio eclipses, and there's not going to be another Scorpio eclipse for what, 12 years? 12? Longer. I don't remember that, but it does. On top of that, on May 1st, we had Pluto in Aquarius station he stopped because he's going to go backwards. Hi,
We also had
Allie's here. Hi, Allie. Huh?
We also had Mercury go retrograde on the
Yeah.
first.
Mercury's retrograde, but with Pluto there, right? He's also squaring the nodes, which is the north and south node, which are going to change in July. But he's squaring the nodes up until November. So him sitting there getting it, the message to everyone that's in communication with him is get in integrity. And we're going to see everything that's not in integrity. So this is going to keep unfolding. We can see the news now.
Yeah.
We've seen the news for the last 2, 3, 4 years plus, and it's just getting more and more and more. And now with Taurus, Mercury in Taurus retrograde, he's going to go forward on the 14th or 15th. Then Jupiter and Pluto are going to square each other like for a couple days here. That's every time this happens. There's more going to be revealed in the outer world, in politics, in everything, the systems, right? So these systems are being held, going to be exposed for what they've been doing.
Right.
Just look
in fact, I felt today was easier than the energy on Beltane on May Day.
I
May 1st.
agree.
Because even though the Mercury was kissing me the sun, it was in between the sun and Uranus. And that was what was making it so difficult,
Mm-hmm. And that was, well, we have this, you mean today, the sun, Uranus are together?
No,
Also.
Uranus, no, on May 1st. That
Yeah.
I was talking about that being on May 1st because they were in that inferior conjunction. And it was like a hyperactive day and hard to get things out. And
yeah,
especially with even the way the weather was on May 1st here, it was like wheels spinning. It was cold. It was windy. I did get to the lake to walk, but I had a kerchief on my neck. I had a hat on, mittens.
Yeah, so that was what? Was that Tuesday? Was that Tuesday?
I don't know, May 1st.
Well, it was.
I know. I'm still digging dirt, guys. Excuse me.
The thing is that when we get together, Diane and I get together and we talk to you guys, and we're always saying, write your list of what you want to release. This has been going on for a while. Write that list, burn it, whatever you got to do to help release whatever is stuck in there,
Yeah.
As we're doing that, we know Taurus is on the other side. Taurus is helping us create. So you don't want to leave it empty. You want to create it with what it is that your heart desires.
Right.
Now, Diana and I both keep track of what's going on in the news with 45 and all that catastrophe. But it's starting to get how would you say?
Open. It's starting to show itself finally, right? It's especially after today.
Allie, yes, this is this is a culmination to the solar eclipse in last November, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And that, that's how the eclipses work, because it gives time to get this information out. Right?
Well, and we had 7 in a row at 16 degrees.
Yeah.
And this is the first one that was not at 16 degrees. This one was at 14 degrees and 58 minutes.
Right. And that did start in November, didn't it?
Yeah.
So that there's a message there. Now, you may know what that is personally, but I'm looking at this, especially with the Scorpio, as what's going on in the collective humanity, how this is going to restructure the systems that we are living under that are not in integrity. Look at this Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is, come on, really? That's our go-to?
And here's another little fact about that 14 degrees and 58 minutes being in Scorpio and Taurus as it is. That's when Pluto was born. Pluto was born under the Scorpio moon and the Taurus sun. And that was, he was born and he was enlightened and he died under that auspicious Taurus
Really?
Scorpio. Taurus knows what he wants, he knows how to go about it. He's the
Hmm.
financial house. And Scorpio is how to dig deep and how to pull out all the secrets. And there's Pluto doing both things. And that's under which he was supposedly born.
That's amazing. Because Pluto rules Scorpio. Well, Mars and Pluto rule Scorpio.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in play. And they're going to be in play most of this year. Well, Pluto going into Aquarius alone is is major. That's 248-year cycle. But he just stopped and stationing to go retrograde back into Capricorn. Now, every time he goes back and forth, Capricorn, Aquarius, we're going to get more information revealed, more of the underbelly of how our systems have been disingenuous, to
Well,
say
and
the least.
he's going to be he's at 0 degrees and 21 minutes. That's where he's been. He's still holding space, which I keep saying. Mercury is also, well, Mercury has begun to move backward, but on May 1st, he wasn't. He and Pluto were both holding space. So it was really difficult to get things out and get beyond wheels spinning.
Yeah,
But today's energy was very powerful,
yeah.
you know, and that holding space is showing you what you want to do. And it is, was charged, and it's going to be that degree, that 14 degrees and 58 minutes is going to be lit up in your chart, especially if you have something in a fixed sign for
Mhm.
most of the summer, because it's charged us. It
Yeah,
got us going today.
yep. And I mean, it's really just, well, when we did a video on Pluto entering Aquarius, and that was on March 23rd. And this is like, that was the first door opening
Yeah.
towards the age of Aquarius. We're not saying it's open, but it's opening that, it's getting us into the hallway, right? And this is like the second door opening. And it's just going to, the universe is actually being really good to us, with Saturn being in Pisces, Mars being in Cancer. When is Venus is going into
The
Cancer?
7th. So in 2 days, Venus is going to join Mars in Cancer. And that's going to be, sweet songs and, yeah,
Home and
harmony,
comfort. Yeah. All the,
happiness. Yeah,
yeah.
right. So look at what house is that in for you? If it's in the second house, well, that is going to be a lot of sweetness, since they're both in Cancer. If it just so happens your Cancer house or your Cancer sign is in that, even if you have nothing else in there, just the
Yeah.
fact that they're lighting that up for you is going to make it a happier day.
Hi, Kelly. Kelly saying she agrees with you. Her reading for the weekend, the first card was hunger. Hungry for accountability, justice, and a sense of security, normalcy, and self empowerment. And that's exactly what we're stepping into. Now, a lot of us, we're all on some part of the path, but we're all on the same journey, right? So, we, in our community, our spiritual community, we're connected to our hearts. We're connected. We understand what's going on energetically, whether we know the astrology or not. We know that we're remembering our gifts. We're coming online like that, and we know that we're the front runners, and we're creating the new reality that's coming in. And
Right.
this old reality is dying at the same time that's happening. But there's a safety net there, because there's many, well, I don't even want to call them systems. I want to call them, what would be a good word? When you're replacing an old system in a higher vibration, is what I'm
New
trying
machinery.
to. Okay.
I mean,
And that's what
things
we're
that
here.
run quietly so there isn't so much noise
Hmm.
and rhetoric. And that's, if you think about it, think about what 45 has been like.
Yeah.
And
It's been
that,
awful.
well, and it just gets to be the point, it's like you're doing a peanuts thing, wah, 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 wah. You don't even, I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
can't,
I can't listen to him speak. I can't.
no,
It makes me
can't even
nauseous.
stand to look at a picture of him. Vomit.
and it and it's like, okay, so look at all the court cases, all the. I mean, it's just one thing after another after another. It's no different than when he was in office. Every day he did something abhorrent, and it was just. It's like we're living this in slow motion almost, and it's really frustrating.
Right.
But it is coming in to be revealed. It's going to all be
Right.
exposed. Things are going to change. And I know everybody's sick of hearing that, but really it is. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no, 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 no.
Thank you, Kelly.
The there's also a quincunx going on the 6th. Yeah, 7th, sorry. When Venus goes in with Mars. Now remember, Mars is in a water sign. So his action is like the water's getting shallower because he's going to be at 22 degrees, but he still can't run in water and get very far, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's that sweet spot. The quincunx that's going to be out there is going to be that trying to fine tune his ability to run, and he can't do that. So just be easy on yourself. Take your time, settle in, let things unfold
Mm-hmm.
as they're supposed to on their own. They'll, when the laundry's dry, it starts flapping a whole lot
Mm-hmm.
more.
True. And it is. It's divine timing, and there's a reason for it. I do believe if he did anything for the benefit of humanity, it is exposing the underbelly, the swamp. He really is. He's really everything is getting lit up and hit, and investigations are underway for all kinds of things. Even hi Angela, hi Pratt. I mean, this is
Yay.
and that underbelly that's being exposed, like the trains, they're not, they don't have the regulations in place to keep them safe. Just everything in our everyday world that we all count on is has
Falling apart.
been, yes, it's falling apart.
But the thing is we once had everything in place to protect that.
Yeah.
And along came.
Hmm. So, but all new stuff is going to have to come in. I mean, maybe even let's. Oh, this is exciting! High speed rail. Or we're the
that
last country.
that runs quietly like the roller
Yeah.
coasters at the fancy new places and not the old wooden ones that I grew up with on Bablo. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
those were spooky, rattly, all over the place, and now they are suspended and they do loop de loops, and you hardly even hear those rails and the rubber wheels on them. And so this is a refinement of our
Thank you.
machinery. And we have to remember that our human body is a machine also.
Yeah.
Now we have, you know, intelligence that AI doesn't have. We
Hmm.
have emotions that AI doesn't have. But we still have to keep our body fine tuned with what we put in it, be it information or food or drink.
Hmm.
Like, it's Cinco de Mayo. Guess who really wants some margarita? but didn't have one.
Mm.
Mostly because she doesn't have any tequila in her. But that's beside the point. I just the day is here. I don't even really crave it anymore. You
Mm-mm.
know?
It used to be a lot of fun, though. I'll
Yeah,
give
yeah,
tequila. I'll give tequila that.
yeah. When one drink didn't make it really hard for me to move, but rather instigated my dancing abilities.
And I was an expert dancer. I was an expert dancer when I was on tequila. I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
about everyone else.
I really still am. Not to toot
Yeah,
my horn, but I really still am. But whatever it was that happened in August that put me in this position is what is I'm still trying to deal with. So, which brings me to another thing. This is our time for healing. This is really an important time for healing.
it really is. Is that true, Allie? She's saying Cinco is a win for the underdog. Cinco is a win for maybe. I don't know.
Well, because the French thought they were going to take over Mexico.
Oh. That's what it is. I never really knew. I always bartended. Never knew what the heck it was. But and speaking of
Cuba
the
wasn't
French,
that prominent then.
yeah. And speaking of the French, though, the French Revolution and the American Revolution, these are the energies we're living under. So this is significant change for a nation to go through.
Well, and it
And
was approximately the same time that my great 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 grandfather got rid of, uh, abdicated as king and made Poland a democracy. So, no more regality.
mm, okay. Oh, Cinco de Mayo, Alley. Okay. And she's just saying it was a war with the French. They had 5,000 troops. Mexico had 2,000, and Mexico still won.
Yeah.
Yeah. And see that, you know, out of every war, everything that's ever happened throughout history, the light wins in the long run, and this is, I mean, we're not going to have a revolutionary war. At least I don't think so. It's going to seem like it because it does already seem like it because of the division. But I don't even think we'd hear the other side if the media wasn't pumping them up because there's not that many of them to begin with. But here we are. We have the media. We have all that to deal with. But the light is here and the light's going to win. And we're going to refine all of this, everything, the machinery too. And that's another Pluto and Aquarius thing. That's a lot of AI.
Yeah.
And some people are getting concerned. Oh, is AI going to take over? They can't. They don't have a heart and they don't have a soul. If that was the case, we would have lost all these battles for the soul of our country or the soul of a nation, right? Don't you think?
Yeah. Too many of us have fathers who fought in World War II
Mm-hmm.
and Korea and Vietnam, of which, those were my men. Those were my boyfriend was killed in Vietnam, my very special first love of my life. And he was killed on his first trip in, like the same day. He hadn't been there but a day. So,
Yeah. And how many men, you know, men, women, children died because of
well, and look,
war to
Ukraine,
make money off
right,
of war.
right. Ukraine is still going on too. Don't forget about it just because we're
Mhm.
not hearing as much about it.
Oh no,
It's still,
that I see that ending soon. I don't see Putin here very much longer, but and a lot of people say that. I really just don't. I don't even know if that's him anymore. If they just keep it propped up, but I don't know. It's so crazy. It's so crazy because AI can create things that look real, can create battle scenes, or it can create a president or a dictator and make him look like he's here and there and everywhere. And we don't know. We don't really can't tell the difference. So that does kind of concern me because Valerie said AI is more intelligent than us. And I mean, but it still doesn't, there's no heart and soul there, which I think is.
Well, right. Even if you program it to have that, it's only an imitation
Yeah,
of the real thing.
yeah. That's
Right.
what I think too. And we got all this Taurus coming up. We have
Yeah.
Jupiter going into Taurus. We have Mercury going direct in Taurus. And what else? Oh, we have the new moon in Taurus.
Yeah.
That's,
Then we have
that's going to be significant towards the end of the month. Well, don't you think? As
yeah,
far
well,
as reading goes.
everything is going to have all of these lightning bolts. On May 9th, we have the sun conjunct Uranus. Exact on May 9th, right? So there's the days leading up to that conjunction. And because it's the sun, you can give that a 10-degree orb. So we're already in that.
Yeah.
As you were speaking earlier, right?
Yeah.
We're already in that. So
that's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Lightning bolts are going to be coming. It's going to be jolted awake, ideas flooding in, desire, manifestation, the things that you want to see and have. And Taurus is the house, controls the house of money. Taurus is about all the fine things in life.
Yeah.
Chocolate. Just
I need
throw out. Licorice. Good black panda licorice. That's,
everybody has their thing that they really like. Well, Taurus likes it all, and it knows, well, the Taurus in our chart. It's obviously hitting Diana's licorice.
Well, yeah, my Mars is in Taurus at 29 degrees, so it takes action when it's ready to, but it's methodical because it's 29 degrees, so he's critical, right? He's at a critical point. Mm-hmm. It's a maturity level.
It's an intelligence.
If you look at it that way. So I do all of this planning and then never think about it again. Just go out there and do it. And like today, that planning kept track of me like clockwork, and it was uncanny to come in and look at the clock and see, oh my gosh, I'm right on time. Thank you, Spirit.
Oh, we have a new guest named Sharp Lisa, and she says she's asking, should I be concerned during this Scorpio full moon eclipse, seeing I am a Scorpio sun, moon, rise, and rising?
Wow. Well, how'd you get through this day, hon?
Yeah, how was your day today? How have things been going?
Awesome.
Yeah, because it is helping us release something out of our lives. It's helping us finally let go of something, or we know we need to let go. Now, we might not have let go of it today, but we know it's got to go. And it's going to, eclipses have about a 6-month or time frame. So it could be anything. But, Diana has a good question. How are you feeling today? That is pretty, whew.
And what house is her sun in?
She didn't say.
And if she has a Scorpio moon, it would have
to
be.
It's got to be first. If her
right.
rising.
Well, it could be the 12th.
She said it was pleasant as usual, nothing out of the ordinary. Well, that's awesome. Then you're okay.
That's the best you can ask for.
Yeah.
Right? Just be nothing unusual happening, please.
And if you're here, you must be, connected to your heart, or really understand the heart, soul, spiritual connection. And I don't see our community, not saying things aren't happening to people, but those things that come out of the blue and knock you down, that's really if you're not in integrity, you're not in your truth, in your heart. um Pluto wants everyone to be in integrity. That's all it wants. And that, he gets a bad rap, like we should be
Yeah.
afraid of Pluto. But no, not at all. Or
When
Scorpio.
you right, when you have to take action, you take out your Mars. When you have to take action and protect yourself, you
Mm.
take out Pluto.
Mm. Yeah, see, and that's a good point. If you find that you're having it, I'm just using you as an example, Sharp Lisa, just to say it. Since you have all that Scorpio on one end, the way to balance that out is to do your opposite. So you would do some more of the Taurus, add some more Taurus attributes in there. If you ever find, maybe I'm getting a little bit too Scorpio intense, or I live with a couple of Scorpios, so I understand the Scorpios a bit. But it's. I think the Scorpio natives are very comfortable because they've lived it their entire lives.
Right. It's like I'm born with 7 planets in retrograde. One of them is my Mercury, and I'm a Gemini. So when Mercury goes retrograde, it doesn't bother me at all. I've been living with it all my life. Everybody
Hmm.
else might have issues, but because, you know, they get flustered over those issues, there's still everyday things like machinery that doesn't work right, or, you know, the computer messes up because it's part of the communication stream. Well, the computer messes up a lot. You just
Yeah,
notice it more because you got something to blame, right?
yeah.
Unless you're born with Mercury retrograde, then it's no big deal.
And I say this about Mercury retrograde, well, any retrograde planet. It's not really going retrograde, just from our vantage point on Earth it is. But it's going backwards in degrees backward because we didn't get some part of the information, or we have to go back and get something. Is how I've always seen it in my head. Like we're just going back to get something that we forgot, and we'll be okay. You know.
Hmm.
Thank you for being a subscriber, Sharp Lisa. And Allie said it was a great day for her husband. He finally listened to his intuition and stopped being so stubborn. Is the main thing. I've Sharp Lisa says I've tried to keep myself calm and stable for many years now. Yeah, it's not easy. I could imagine having triple sign in your top three is not an easy feat, but triple sign Scorpio, that's a lot. It is a lot.
Gets a lot done. Scorpio,
Yeah,
Mars and Pluto are co-rulers of Scorpio,
right.
which she probably knows. But that makes you more intense, but it makes you um
Hi, Kelly.
it's harder for somebody to pull the wool over your eyes.
Yeah, you're very psychic, very, 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 very psychic, and you just know intuitively, and you do your research. I mean, you do. You get down to the nitty gritty of things. You
Hmm.
don't. And I noticed that with Scorpios, they're very calm under pressure. Very.
Especially if especially if she has her moon and or sun in the 12th house,
Mm,
because they could still be in the 12th house Scorpio
going on.
rising the time of
Yeah,
day you were born.
yeah.
So, you know,
That would be interesting. Do you know, Sharp Lisa, if they're all in the first house, or do you have any your sun or moon in the 12th house? It's really fascinating because the houses are really they're just every part of it's of astrology is important and fascinating. And again, we're we know that astrology is half of the battle. The other half is what we do with that chart, right? And life is going on, and we can see that in the charts. It's what's it hitting in your chart, you know. And by the way, if anyone wants a reading from Diana, she's available for readings. Her information is in the description box below, and
Well,
we
and
love doing this stuff. See, her sun is in the 12th house, moon is in the first with her rising.
okay,
Wow, that's
okay.
awesome, I think.
So Mars is in a water sign right now, which is your ruling planet. And when he gets done with that on May 21st, he's going to move into Leo. So when he goes into Leo, he's going to want to take action. And
Hmm.
that's a given for all of us. Action is
Hmm.
going to come a lot uh, a lot more easily.
Hmm. Is it what what did you say? We were talking the other day, and you said something about when he goes into Leo, it's going to something's going to slow him down because he can't go. You know how Leos are, fire signs. They want to go. I've got this plan. I'm going to do this, and when Mars is just waiting for a sign like this. Not that he doesn't do well in Cancer. He's just more nurturing. Kind of hard for Mars, to be.
Because what's going to be going on also is that we're going to be in the benefits of the stuff that's been uncovered, but that's the going to be the first thing he's going to take action on. So the
Mm,
things that have come to the surface, he may even get a little emotional about it because guess what? It's Leo. Leo is
mm-hmm.
controlled by the sun, and Leo controls the heart. So can't help but sometimes become passionate about something.
Oh my God! Listen to this, Diana. Sharp Lisa also has Venus in Scorpio first house and Neptune in Scorpio first house. Girl. Oh yes, that's a stellium. That's a
Oh
stellium.
yeah.
That 12th house sun, though, right, is
And,
above it all, and it's shining that
well,
beautiful
you have a stellium
energy.
of you have a stellium oh, four four things in the sign of Scorpio, and then you've got three things in the first house in Scorpio, and that sun, is it in orb?
Four. Four. She is, well, ascendant and moon, I guess if we count the ascendant. The sun is in, I don't, well, it must be
Well,
because
it's
it's
in
Scorpio.
Scorpio, but she said it was in the 12th house. So
Yes.
what degree is it at,
Oh, I don't know. Oh, you're
Yeah.
welcome,
So it had to
Scorpio.
be at a new moon,
If
and
you
that's
ever
a
want to
two and
get your
a half
chart
day period.
read,
Yeah, we're all doing. Who
we'll
else
do
has
it.
questions about their
Yeah,
chart out there? We can
I
talk to
mean, if
everybody.
you, yeah, we could really get into your chart. I'm sure you're getting, I would say you're getting, wow, what would be a good word? Spirit, infused is what I just heard.
Oh,
Like the
that's a good word.
energy, yeah, coming through to you are, I
So,
just
and
really see you excelling.
well, on the
I don't know.
21st, the sun also goes into Gemini. So, you know,
Mm,
there's there's going to be want to communicate, want to do this, want to do that, want to get everything done, and it might just be hard to
yeah.
focus when it first happens, when it all
And,
gets started.
and don't you feel also that, well, it's already breaking loose. The information that's going to be coming out, and there's going to be stuff that we never even heard of, and we're all going to be really pissed. I just want to say that real quick. No, it's going to be bumpy for the next year and a half. We see it getting better 2025, but we're going to be really upset. Well, and our whole nation is. In fact, a lot of the world is. So when that's going on, just keep going back into your heart. That's something Diane and I say a lot, but it's really going to be important because it's going to almost go out of control. It's going to go so fast. And look, Saturn's going to be in Pisces. He's just going to be chilling, like whatever, y'all, and
Yeah. We
what do
have
you think?
all those planets going into so many planets going into Aries. We're going to have the North Node going into Aries.
Mm-hmm,
That's going to be there for 18 months. I'm
mm-hmm,
excited. I can't wait because my
mm-hmm,
North Node is in Aries. So I'm excited about that. However,
mm-hmm.
there's all of these other new beginnings because Aries is what? Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So we're going to have all these planets stretched out in Aries, and then they're all going to go back into the sign that they came from. And then at the beginning of 2026, not to scare everybody, but look at how fast everything goes. Look at how quickly it's gone since 2016. Can you believe it? And we're already halfway through this year. I just got the stuff out off my front porch from Christmas. How
I know. Time is time. That's what we were talking about. It
yeah.
is it it's like we're in this space of time out of time. We're in this portal that, it's going so fast. So many things are happening and so much information is coming through that it's almost impossible to get it all absorbed, to get comprehend what's happening, even though we do. And I think that's another going to be one of our remembrances, our psychic skills and abilities. You're just going to learn so much faster because you're just going to absorb this, and you're going to know it, and you're just going to be able to react and act. But
Well, and
in the
remembering
meantime,
your Starseed Foundation is going to
mm-hmm,
be a part of this because
mm-hmm,
we are all of we are stardust, we are
yeah,
golden, we are billion-year-old carbon, and we got to get ourselves back to the garden.
and that's
I
where we're
know. Let's
headed.
all sing.
I know. Let's see. I want to sing the song now. I'm about to play it.
Yeah.
But I'm so excited for this 2025, 2026 that I get myself, well, here you are now. And what are you going to do with that? And I'm like, well, we're watching it, right? Keep going into our heart, keep hanging out with our friends and in our all of the people in the chat and on the videos, and we all kind of know, we all got this knowing that this is going to really go off the deep end, go off the rails even. And we might want to do Crazy Train with Ozzy too while we're at it. that's what it's gonna feel like. It's
Well,
gonna
I
be
was
relaxed.
banging my head today. I'll tell you, I had a big head Todd plan. I just, yeah, I was banging my head big time.
but but that's why we're going to continue to do these, to a couple times a month. Allie and I are going to be together. Kelly and Allie and everybody, all of us. Diana and Allie are going to be together. I mean,
Yeah,
we constantly are supporting each other through this, in every way we can, whether we're on the show or in the chat. It doesn't matter. It's a place to go, because this I came here and I found everybody here, like you all found everybody when that idiot became our president. We were just all like, what in the f
how
is
did this
going
happen?
on? How
Well,
could
and
they?
right? How are your dreams?
We
The
are
energy
one.
the other night and sleeping patterns. Period. Are you
Mm.
sleeping or are you not sleeping? You
Do
know,
you need to sleep?
night before last, I couldn't. The dreams, and you know me and dreams, right?
Yeah.
But the dreams kept coming so fast that whatever my mind does to sort it out, they couldn't do that. It couldn't do that. And so when it came morning, it's like I could see it, but it was all a blur. I couldn't put words to it. I couldn't even take it to my journal and draw pictures.
Oh man.
So, but last night was a whole different story. And I gave you a rundown of what it was. Now, I had other things to do, so I didn't journal this morning on that. But what
Yeah.
stuck with me the most was they took earring backs for post earrings,
Mm-hmm.
right? And put them on a counter. There, I was to be served a vegan pizza, and it was like a comma, shaped like a comma, and they wouldn't give it to me. And then it was cardboard, and so I couldn't eat that anyway. And then they all had all these giant pizzas, and they went off to eat their pizzas, and there was I with nothing. And then I can't remember everything that I said to you, but the earring backs were the last thing. And then after I got done talking to you, I realized they really weren't earring backs. They were the little discs that you put candle wicks in when
Mm.
you're making candles, or when you've burned up the tea light and you got that little disc in there and
Mm.
it falls out and you step on it,
Mm.
which I did not do anytime lately. But that's really what they were. They weren't really earring backs. They were those little tiny discs. But they look like earring backs.
And this is what's fascinating, because she can usually draw her dreams, explain them in detail every day. I don't dream. And I'll catch and I'll be saying at the end, I guess I know somewhere in me I'm going to wake up. Remember this, and it repeats, 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 and as soon as I open my eyes, it is gone. And I struggle with that all the time. Well, this morning I text her and I'm like, okay, I heard very loud and clear before I even really opened my eyes. Saturday, November 23rd. So, of course, I grabbed my phone and I'm looking up what day's November 23rd. Well, it's Wednesday this year. Next year, on the 2024, it's Saturday. Then Diana reminds me, and that's the day Pluto's going back into Aquarius. So,
To
oh,
stay.
to stay. So I don't know why. It wasn't like I heard it in a, a urgent thing or worrisome tone. It was just a matter of fact, and I was like, but I don't remember anything. I heard that clear as a day. I was like, oh Jesus. So it is. It's getting really revealing, and that's what's going to keep coming. That's why we call this the unfolding. More and more and more is going to be revealed on so many levels, and it's going to be spinning out of control so fast. But we got to keep going back into our heart, keep going back into what it is that brings us joy in most every moment we can be in. Yes, we have to do things we don't like, and I wish we didn't. I wish I could change that for everybody, but right now, that's how it's set up. Um,
Well, and keep track of your dreams, because
no,
Neptune's going to be giving them to us. I mean,
no.
he's the proprietor of it to begin with, but he's still in Pisces. He's going to be there till everybody makes their transition into Aries.
Aries. So in
26.
2025, all these planets will be in Aries, and it's going to be like, this is what we're doing, this is how we're doing it, this is why we're doing it, and it's done, period, right? So it's going
Yeah.
to be really fascinating. But we'll have so much by then, not only revealed, taken care of on whatever level it needed taken care of. Like, look at the Supreme Court. It doesn't look like it, but I know that there's going to have to be some sort of regulatory group, ethics committee in charge of them, because the people are going to snap. And I don't mean like revolution. Well, it's going to get pretty touchy there for a little bit. And that's why things are going to start changing, because people are going to be upset. I'm done. I've had enough. And I don't know, be in the streets protesting. Something is going to pull us together and take us out of that division that we've been forced into for the last 50 years, really.
Well,
And
and even May 14th, when Mercury stations to go direct. Okay,
mhm,
so again, he's going to be holding space, right?
mhm.
And Mars is in the early orb degrees of hitting a beautiful trine to Neptune. and it's going to be metaphysical. Everybody's going to be tweaked.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be tweaked with that.
Yeah, that's going to be really nice. That is going to be really nice. Allie's going to be 70 in 2025. My goodness, you don't look past 18.
I like that. Guess how old I'm going to be? 86. No.
And does age even age doesn't feel like it matters at all. I don't know. I don't care really how old I am. I know, but I don't really.
Well, my baby just told me, Ma, this year I turned 40. I went, oh, now how can that be? I'm only 34. I don't get that. That happened.
Yeah, see,
right?
And it's like we just don't have that. I don't know about y'all. When I was growing up and I would see my grandparents, they just seemed like they were old and they were just beat up by the world. You know, like they could barely. I mean, they did what they had to, to survive, but it wasn't much that they could do.
They came through the Depression. They came through World War II and Korea and Vietnam, depending on which generation they were actually from. But it was a different time. The work was harder. Shoveling dirt's always been shoveling dirt. There's better ways to do it if you got a big farm and can afford the equipment, right? So,
or steel mills or any of that.
So that May 14th and then the 15th and 16th, we're also, Jupiter's going to be at 29 degrees, critical degree of Aries.
Yes, let's talk about that. That's going to be awesome.
Yep. He's going to have the ability to finish projects because where's he going from there? Into Taurus.
0-degree Taurus. But that 29-degree Jupiter in Aries is going to ping off of that last eclipse that was 29 degrees Aries.
Ping, right.
Yep. And it's going to go, okay, here's what you wanted to create. Here it is, pretty much.
Right. And so that's another degree that you're going to see light up a lot during the summer and motivate us as individuals.
29 or 0? Which one? 29
both. The 29 degrees is 0 is just as critical because it's a holding space. And when a planet is getting ready to change signs, you hear it a lot with the moon is void, but that's because the moon does it so much more often. It's when it's in the final degrees of a sign. It's not making an aspect to anything. It's void. It's getting ready to change signs. And so that's that. It's got its own business to take care of. It's like you got to go brush your teeth kind of thing. Yeah. And so when Jupiter gets to that degree and gets into that 0, it's the infant. 0 degrees is the moment you're born. You can think of it logically as that, right? It's you just barely got out of the womb. Nobody's cleaned you off yet. And did you scream or did they have to hit you twice? And what's in your eyes, so it's still that just absorbed with everything that's going on in order for you to make progress going forward.
Yeah, because
this is why coming back to Pluto holding space, because he's only at 0 degrees in 21 minutes in solar arc. That's nothing. That's 2 inches.
Yeah. And that's a good point. When you're coming out of the womb, you were in the how did I just forget about what's the baby encased in a womb? Lord, why can't I think? I swear to God.
Amniotic fluid, is that
well, but it's like you're in this bubble, right? You come out of this bubble and you're just that's what that 0 degrees reminds me of. You're in the bubble, you're safe in the bubble. But you haven't been able to get out of the bubble yet. At 29 degrees now, you've learned everything from 0 to then, and you have a pretty good idea on which way to move. So when the planets are in 29, it's a good, decision making moment. If you know, only if you know. If you don't know, keep acting like you're in the zero.
Right.
Hi,
That
Bora Bora.
zero is like oh gosh, my thought just went away. 0
Protection.
degrees is the cusp line.
Mm,
So you see, even at 21 seconds, okay, technically you are really the other sign. If you are born on a 0 degree, technically, if it's 0, 0, 0, you're definitely a cusper. If you've already begun to move into the minutes, then
even one.
technically you
Yeah.
are really the other sign, but you're still standing on the cusp line. You haven't gotten away from the cusp line. So that anytime you think you're a cusper, make sure that your degree of sun is at 0 degrees. Or your Mars can be at 0 degrees, as mine is at 29. My Uranus is also at 29 in Gemini. So both
Mhm,
of those are in those critical degrees of change, getting
mhm.
ready to leave. But for my chart, for my blueprint, they made no further movement than the moment I was born. That's where they were. So
Yeah.
that's how, you look at when you look at your own chart and understand the maturity level that each decant gives us. So 0 to 9, 10 to 19, and 20 to 29, because it starts at 0. So often we forget that 0 is actually a digit.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's really important in astrology, and it is going to be very important for us the next year and a half, along with 29, because every time it goes, just use Pluto, every time he goes to 29 degrees, that's going to really scream something out into the world and show us another layer of the, shouldn't swear,
Right.
of the tragedy that's going on out
Well,
there. But
and he doesn't go into Capricorn until June 11th. So he's going to be at this holding space, losing minutes in traction, but that's okay. And I'm sure everybody knows they don't really go backwards. They
right.
just slow down, and the rest of the planets continue on at a speed faster than them. So it's
Mm,
just like being on the expressway. You take your foot
mm,
off the gas to exit, the cars start whizzing past you.
yeah. It's going to be definitely interesting. It's. I think Diana and I are going to come back on the Taurus new moon on the 19th.
Yeah.
We should have by then heard a lot more things. We should have a lot more to go into. We have a lot of stuff that we can talk about. Look, this happened, all the things with Trump this week. He had a terrible week. Well, of course he did. It was a build up to Scorpio eclipse, He's actually had terrible few months, and
Well, he was born under an eclipse besides, so.
I'm still
And
trying to figure out
can
if he's
I can
doing
I
it.
bring this up because I think this was the greatest.
Sure.
The judge listening to E. Jean Carroll's case.
Mm.
He knew. He knew because Trump set this up that he was not
Hmm.
going to testify, blah, 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 blah. And he goes running off to Scotland and Ireland, blah, 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 blah. And so yesterday, he made this big announcement that I gotta leave the golf course. I gotta leave Ireland. I gotta leave Scotland because I gotta go do this E. Jean Carroll thing. And the judge knew that this was going to happen. And Tacky Taco, whatever his name is,
Mm.
swore up and down, he is not testifying. He is not testifying. So Kaplan says, okay, well, let me know on Sunday night how you feel about that because he just said he's going to testify.
Hmm.
So he can wait until, Sunday night to let me know. if he's going to testify or not. That way, he's not set up to say the judge didn't give me a good, fair trial.
Yeah,
I
because that's
said
what
I
he
was
does.
coming. You all witnessed. I said I was
Hmm.
coming back, and he didn't give me the chance to do that. So,
But
this,
see, isn't that his MO though? He's always done it. I mean, before he was president, he had over 5,000 court cases he was involved in.
yeah,
Why don't we vet our people who are going to run our nation or work for our nation or be in Congress? I mean, all of these things have to be looked at and really elevated. You, getting a job as a server, you have to be
yeah.
vetted more than you do as a United States president, which I can't even. I
And you
can't.
can get yourself locked down if you serve a minor.
Yeah.
Look at how
Oh,
many of them have
yeah.
done ugly things to minors.
Yes. Yeah.
You
I know.
know?
Yeah. He's. There's a lot more there, and that's going to come out too.
Yeah.
We won't say it on this one, but when the information comes out, we'll be able to say it. But we want to come back like every full moon, new moon to show how things in the world are unfolding, and we can look at our own personal lives and know things that we're going ahead in time. But it kind of gives you being stuck in the mud and this mire down in this man and his BS for so long and thinking there's no justice. There's two justice systems. He doesn't never have to pay the price. He's really going to have it handed to him. And I just, would be glad to come on here and talk about that.
Well, and what else is funny is that this is his first court case, and what has everybody? I mean, even you and I have read on it, and it's like, yeah, he's going to leave the country. What did he do? Right out of the chute. And this isn't even, like La Vegas one.
I didn't think he would. I honestly didn't. I thought he was told he couldn't leave because this is the first time he's left the country since he lost the presidency in
And I think
2020.
they gave him some kind of
A what?
a diplomat's
Oh,
um,
but he hasn't gone anywhere.
passport or visa or something that he could do this. I mean, he has businesses there, but there was something about that, and that was so long ago I don't remember, because when they first took away his passport, there was something that got it back for him.
Oh, well, once all this comes out and those that were involved in January 6th that are in Congress right now. Oh, that's gonna get, it's going to have people up in arms. It's really going to have, because they have video, audio. Yeah, you can mess with AI, but this is why they've taken so long because they
Well,
have to be clear, right?
yep, the Proud Boys and
Yeah.
what the other ones were, they
Yep.
they went down and were charged with seditious
Hmm.
conspiracy, which was one of the things that the other side was screaming and hollering, there ain't no sedition, there ain't no sedition. 12
Hello.
of them yesterday, whenever that verdict came down
Well,
yesterday.
see, and it's just and okay, so that hasn't even been. I don't think anyone's been charged with that since like the 50s it was the 50s or
Yeah,
60s or
something like
something.
that.
And
Something like that.
they didn't think it was going to come through. Now, see, this is exactly what's going on. Yep, Marjorie, Jordan, Sarah Huckabee, Cruz are the ones that need to be. Well, I just think there's so many more that need to be taken out, and they have no right.
Well, didn't Kirshner say that Cruz's days are numbered?
Yeah, all of them. They all had their little hands in everything.
Yeah.
And this is what's killing me is that okay, so we don't have the House by one seat, and they're up there playing these games with their little hearings and their ridiculousness. It's infuriating, and I literally don't know what to say about that, other than when it does start to be revealed, and there's actual consequences for the things that did happen. People will be cheering. I think everybody's kind of in that, because we're in that time out of time thing. You just kind of have your holding your breath feeling,
Yeah.
or like something that blew up and everything's just kind of still hanging in the air and it
Yeah.
hasn't begun to fall down yet. That's where we're at, and it will. And we're
Right.
going to talk.
Well, and some of the dates to watch for that are going to be May 13th, 14th,
Hmm.
15th, the 15th, and the 16th. Then we have Jupiter squaring Pluto.
Pluto, yep. That's going to be a good
And
one
they
in
know how to play
revealing.
with each other, you know?
Yep.
Jupiter's going to expand it, and Pluto's going to show you everything it's worth. And
Yep.
then we also, on the
Yeah,
13th, we have this top of a kite between the moon and Saturn in Pisces, conjunct. And then we're going to have Mercury in Taurus at 5 degrees. And then we have that Venus in Cancer at 6 degrees. So that's a good release date. It's just the top of the kite,
What day is that?
sextile with a trine, but it is anything, it'll be a sweet thing. But if
Hmm.
anything does get in your way, you have this release point with Mercury in Taurus. Stay grounded, think it through, don't
Hmm.
act until you're absolutely certain. And
Right.
then when we get to the 18th, we have the Sun sextiling Neptune and Mercury. And then we have Mercury sextiling Saturn.
Is that the Grand Cross?
That's no, that's a sextile.
That's
Grand
okay.
Cross is the square between Jupiter and Neptune. I didn't write down who else is that. The Grand Cross.
Yeah, because that's also going to be revealing, and that's when I expect a lot to be revealed, a lot to be released from the 13th on to the end of the month. It's gonna that And Diana and I are going to be together on the 19th. So when we come back, we should have some stuff to talk about, because, or um, definitely, I I just think it's starting now, and it's going to go through the summer. It's going to be very volatile, because the division in the country is still there. A lot of these people still believe in this and that man, and I think that's the evidence they're
Right.
coming up with is what shows he was the traitor.
So today was for me personally, and I would think that for many of the people here in this community with us tonight, it was such a spiritual day that if
Mm.
I seem a little discombobulated now, it's because I'm just still standing in the glory
Mm.
of this day. It just felt like
Yeah, it felt like a big release from the
it
previous week.
did. It did.
Mm.
And I know we're not making much progress in really talking about the astrology, though we have. It's just that there's just so much going on right now. Seriously.
and
So
and
please
it,
forgive me.
no, I think you're doing an excellent job. It's a lot to make sense out of, even as someone who knows how to read the charts. Because I know you do this. We both do it. You look at a chart and then pick it up again, and you see something you didn't see the
I
first
know.
time.
I'm in, and this weekend I'm doing a chart for my niece, and I haven't it like usually I can just stick with something and do it. And I've had to wander off.
Well, it was tense. It was tense the last week. It was really
Yeah.
tense feeling to me. It was starting to get under my skin, tense. And there's nothing that you could really point at, blame it on. But I knew this was coming, so I just felt like, okay, it's coming. It's got to, and that's a good thing, because once it gets whatever that is out of you, you feel lighter. Things start going smoother.
There was a report that I did that they were concerned about old energies returning, and it did.
Oh no. It
Well, but
did?
it worked out good.
Oh,
It,
good, good. Oh, I
it
thought
worked
you
out
said it.
good. I think.
Yeah, Diana is super grounded. She did get to play in the dirt today. But
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
lot.
yeah, I sound nasally. I know I do because there's a lot of that dirt up my nose. I mean, I was just shovel after shovel after shovel.
I love doing
I
that. I
think
love
it's,
it.
yeah, like 40 wheelbarrows full,
Oh, I love that.
you know,
Yeah.
heavy as it was, at least 10 huge shovelfuls, square nose, boom.
But it's making you strong, and you got to release this energy. The Scorpio energy is like you got to do something with it.
Right.
You can't just, yeah, you can
Yeah.
meditate. You can definitely meditate, but it really helps to get some physical action in there because
Right.
that's Taurus. You're using the Taurus side of it.
Yes, which brings me to this Chiron and Aries
Oh
and
boy.
the importance of this beginning to heal.
Mhm.
Now, I am a breast cancer survivor, and all my major surgeries went on 27, 28 years ago. And I'm on my Saturn return, the second, that first go around all the way around so that the planets are at the degrees they were when I had the surgeries. And I'm healing from that. And now we're going into a place where Chiron in Aries is showing throwing nice light on my
Mm.
Chiron in Sagittarius, which is connected to my moon. They're conjunct. And so all of this goes back to my birth and healing from my birth. And I've never walked correctly because I was born Frank Breech. So not only butt first, but face down. I'm lucky I didn't drown on my
I
way.
know.
Maybe
I
that's
was
why I
butt
hate.
first too.
I,
God.
it's probably why I'm afraid of boats. I was in motion. All I, all I can do is get all this fluid inside of my nose, my mouth, blah blah blah. So
Mm.
anyway, but the kind of surgeries I had, not only a mastectomy, but I had tram flap surgery as the reconstruct. So they took my abdominal muscle, tunneled it up underneath the rib cage, and sewed it
Mm.
in place. And it was a football, the shape of a football that they do this with, and then they sew into place after what they have taken away for the mastectomy. So now that added to me walking around like gorillas in the mist. Before that surgery, I always walked up straight. My mother made me, I went to Catholic school. Stand straight. It was part of the ruler routine. So
Yeah. Mm.
I did, but I
That
never
means
had a proper curvature to the small of my back. I always felt like my back was flat like an ironing board and not like that. Like most everybody has this little sway that should be there. And today, while I was walking, I this has been ongoing for a while where I've been getting these messages about all of that because I am on this Saturn return for the major surgeries and adjusting to where things were at before the surgery and beginning to realize that I I've never walked correctly, that I've always thrown my right leg out way far and sort of dragged my left leg along, but my left leg would be at the normal pace, the normal gait that my right leg should be at.
hmm
And once I started getting these downloads from Raphael and understanding that I've never really sucked in my core muscles, not even knowing that I never really sucked in my core muscles. That was before pregnancy. And that's the whole thing because when I suck in my core muscles, I now have the curve in the back of my spine that I've never had. And I'm going to be 74 years old and I'm just getting this.
Yeah, the core muscles really do. ha-
But something always prevented me from being able to do that,
Yeah.
whether it's understanding or the internal organs that just weren't put together correctly.
Mm,
You know, we're all machines inside, and we all
mm,
have flaws that we may not even know about till we
yeah.
age. And once we start to age, then those things show themselves for lots of reasons, one of them being gravity. What is this?
Well, and it's funny, Aries has been Chiron's been in Aries for what we want to say
He's
5 years,
halfway through. He's at 14, 15 degrees.
and it's been about how long? 5 years?
No, he's going to be there for 7, so he's at the 3.5 year mark.
Oh God, it seems like forever because
It does, doesn't it?
oh my God, because he's
No,
going to
just as
be
this started, just as this whole thing started, that's when he went into Aries.
the thing is in America's birth chart, the Sibley chart of the day in July 4, 1776. Chiron is in Aries at 20 degrees. Right now he's at, what'd you say, 14 or 15?
14 or 15. I could look
Okay,
really
so
fast.
now that is your deepest wound. Chiron is our deepest wound. So think of our nation. We are going through our deepest wound. It's personal, Aries. It's to do with all of us in Aries in the United States chart, right?
He's
But
on set. He's at 17 degrees, so he's getting closer and closer.
okay,
Today
but
he's at 17 degrees.
I think it was when I was looking at 2025 charts, it was still at not even 20 yet. And I was like, what?
Well, because he's going to go retrograde, he
Yeah.
has those patterns also. He is an asteroid. He's not.
Oh,
That means he's a planet to me, as far as I'm concerned. The
that's what I'm
asteroids
saying.
are so important. They
Yeah.
tell us the nitty gritties of the stories.
Yes.
You know, the fast moving planets are our bread and
Personally.
butter planets, the things
Mm-hmm.
that get us through the course of the day, the things that change rapidly. But where we set our goals are with these slow moving planets.
And that's
And Chiron can have get through a sign in less than 2 years, or like now, he's at his farthest away orbit. He has an undulating orbit to begin with, and it goes out in an oval. So
it's
he
taken forever.
yeah, he's at the farthest away point to Earth right now. So it's going to take him 7 years to come back, and then he's going to have two short ones in a row after this.
Yeah, so he's going to go through Taurus quick, but this is so important to our collective healing, is what I was getting at, personally and collectively.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have Chiron in Aries, it is getting us like Diana just found out through Raphael at her age that maybe something was amiss that she
Well,
never even knew.
I mean, I'm going to say it. I have a tipped uterus that I was told about back when I was in my 20s, and nobody else has ever mentioned that. Not another single gynecologist mentioned it, and that's where all the issues from early life and why I couldn't stand up correctly. A tipped uterus just means that it's tipped in the wrong direction. It's
Hmm.
not the way it's supposed to be according to Grey's Anatomy, you know?
Yeah.
So because of that, it's thrown off everything.
It could have given you a lot of pain too, having you know bladder infections, uterus. There's a lot of
Oh,
things that
yes.
happen there. Yeah.
Yes. Of course,
Uh,
they also said, bubble baths, blah, blah. Okay. So in my day, everybody took bubble baths. I was born in 49, so we were definitely the Avon bubble bath queens.
and now it's sea salt. Get some sea salt, and that's a good idea. Scrub down with some sea salt tonight. Do your list, of the things you want to release. Burn that. Make a list of the things you want to bring in. Do the small little things to bring yourself back into I can create my reality despite what is all going on out there. I can go in my heart and I can go and meditate, or I can read some cards, or I can hang out with all you lovely people. Yeah, Dinah's all about going in her own direction ever since birth. Yes, that was from
Thank you. Who said that? I love that.
yeah. Bye, Ellie. We're getting ready to go too. We'll see you soon, and
Yes.
we'll
Oh
have
my
more to
gosh, it's
discuss.
10:25.
I know.
Thanks for sticking with us.
We're just talking away like we're on a Zoom.
I know.
But we love talking to you all, and we want everyone to understand the ins and outs of what is really going on so you can stay aware. Don't let any of this crap pull you off of your center. If it does, get yourself back in, shut the news off, and
Right? And get into your blueprint.
yeah, your chart.
Because it's you, if you understand that, then you'll know how to put Mercury in your pocket, shut your mouth, and pull your Pluto out. Or Mars and take action.
Sometimes it's got to
Right.
be Pluto and Mars.
Right.
I have a Pluto Mars conjunction, so whew,
Oh.
in Virgo. Oh my God.
Oh, my brother has Pluto on his sun in Virgo.
Mm. I can clean really good. I'm frustrated.
Good therapy. It's like shoveling dirt.
Yeah, I do love shoveling dirt. All right, people, we love you, and we're going to
Yeah.
see you on the 19th. We'll be back to update what's going
Right.
on in the astrology and the unfolding of our, I guess we're going into our new world, right? So we're at the doorstep, and we're talking about these things to keep us just in line. Hi,
Right.
pretty confetti. Oh, we'll be back on the 19th. We'll see you again soon. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
guys. We love you. Be safe out there. And don't forget, if you need a reading, contact Diana. Her information's in the description box. We love you.
Bye bye.